Okay, I think we'll get started as we are recording. So welcome everyone to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on a self-guided demo on BMC Helix Operations Management with AIOps. Joining me is a vast team who will do their formal introductions shortly. What I do want to remind everyone, and when we go through the slides, there is the opportunity to sign up and register for the demo. It is self-guided, so you have this for 2 weeks. John will go through those in the slides that we're going to run through. So you have time now to do that while we get started. Just another reminder as well, you'll all remain muted. There is the Q&A section of Zoom, which you'll find at the bottom. So if you have any questions during the presentation and the demo, please put them in there, and the team that isn't speaking at the time will answer those questions. And then we will have roughly 20 minutes or so at the end where we'll take some live questions. So John, I'm now going to hand over to you to get us started.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sam. All right. So, hi, everybody. Thanks for joining the webinar today. My name is John Wygant. I am a Director of Program Management in the R&D team within BMC. I've been with BMC for 20 plus years. Started as a development manager in R&D and held various positions in the customer engineering team, platinum engineering team, and now responsible for program management and technical marketing in the SEAL team. With me are some of my team members. We have Thad White, who will be doing the actual demo today. Our lead technical consultant, also been with BMC for many years. We do not have David or Damien. We had a last minute change to the roster here, but we do have Wid Spalding from my team, who has also been with BMC for a very long time. He will be in the background answering questions and supporting us as we go through this. All right, so let's get started, folks. So first, we're just going to go through a little bit of an overview, let you know what self-guided demos are, talk a little bit about the user experience, what use cases that we have out there on these self-guided demos, everything that you can look at while you're in the demo system. And then we're going to have Thad, like I said, take us through one of the guided demos around BHOM AIOps, and that is how we'll end it with some Q&A at the end. All right, so just a quick overview. So we have a self-service, we have these demo environment, the self-guided demo environment that is self-service, right? And so once you get your login and credentials and everything, you're free to go in there for a 2-week period and look at all the different features and functionality that we have up there in the BMC suite. It's a very simple registration process. If you haven't done it already, I'll walk you through that in a minute. Just very easily do that by going to bmc.com. And we'll give you credentials, and you're able to log in from that. And then these guided demos, basically what you have is just these dialogues that come up and walk you through and explain exactly what it is that you're seeing, how this thing works, that feature works, and helps you understand the benefits to the product, right? The Helix portal is basically where everything starts. Again, you'll see that when we get to the demo. And then there's also, you have the ability to not actually go through any of the guided demos. You can just explore. This is a fully functioning, though it's read-only, BMC system, right? So let's get started then. Let's walk through the user experience. So as I said, you just go to the bmc.com, and if you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, there's a free trials and demos. You just click on that link. It takes you to this page that has a bunch of different tiles on here. This is just a screenshot of the top part of it, but if you scroll down, you will see these tiles, and you click on any of these to get to the registration page for that particular demo. In this case, we're doing the Helix Operations Management with AIOps, that big tile at the top. When you click on that, you get this registration page where it's a very simple form that you go through, just name and address, name and email and company and your phone number, just some simple information there. And then you click your start your guided demo, right? And that's going to initiate the registration process. You can also ask in there if you would like someone in BMC to contact you, and you obviously have to agree to the terms of the trial agreement. Okay, so when you fill that form out and you hit submit, you should receive an email within just a handful of minutes. You will get a username and password, and you'll also have a link right there that log in now that'll take you directly to the guided demo system. Put your credentials in and you're off and going. Okay. When you do log in, you'll be presented with a menu. In this case, it's showing the IT service management menu. So whatever product that you signed up for, you'll get a menu related to that. But you don't have to do just that. All you have to do is in the lower right-hand corner, there's this Explore button. You click on that, and you can access any of the guided demos that we have out there. So you're not restricted to just you signed up for, but if you signed up a particular one, that will come up first. Okay, now after you sign up, you will receive some engagement emails, some emails that just remind you to take advantage of this systems, that point out some of the benefits, that it will also let you know as your trial comes to an end. And so you get some more information that you'll get a series of 4 of those over the course of the 2 weeks. This is the different use cases that we currently have in the guided demo system. So you can see we have quite a few demos that cover a wide variety of the products. We have the BHOM suite, the ITSM suite. We have videos around the dashboards, also discovery, our HR service management solution, and BHCO. So as you can see, there's a number of use cases here that you can go through, right? So again, you're not restricted to just the ones that you sign up for. So that's it. It's very straightforward. It's very simple to use. We want this. We want you to have the ability to get into this very easily. And these demos are very powerful. They show a lot of the features and functionality of the product, and it's just a good way to educate yourself and understand what the product does. And without further ado, we're going to get to the demo. That's what you came here to see. So I'm going to turn it over to Thad now for the guided demo.
Thank you, John. You should be seeing my screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So what you're seeing on the screen, I'm going to refer to this part. This top part is our demo content, right? And this is really an overlay to our BMC Helix product suite, which you see down below. So if I refer to demo content, I'm kind of referring to this window in the middle. As John mentioned, you sign up for a specific line of products. So in this case, I signed up for BMC Helix Operations Management with AIOps. And so that's what I see here in the middle of the screen. If I'd signed up for ITSM, I would see ITSM, and then I would see ITSM specific use cases here. Also, as John mentioned, but I'll show live, never fear. If you're in AIOps and you say, you know what, I want to try some discovery use cases, you come down here to the bot in the lower right, and I could launch the discovery menu, right? So that would replace this menu with the discovery menu overlay, which I would then have access to all of the discovery use cases. So what we're going to go through today is an AIOps use case. And so this kind of has a sub menu. So if I go to Helix AIOps, I have a sub menu of AIOps use cases I can pick from. And we're constantly adding use cases. There's some new ones coming on here in the very near future. But currently I have one called Apex Online, which is kind of showing an issue with a retail outlet type company. And Apex Mobile, which is one we're going to be going through today, which is showing an issue with a telecom company, right? So it's got a telecom slant to the demonstration. So let's get started. Guess I should select it. That helps. So what happens when you first go into this demo content? The demo overlay appears on every screen, and there'll either be a next button to advance, or it will be directing you what to click on. So in this case, and all of the use cases follow this same format. The very first thing you see is a description of what you're about to see, right? In this case, we're going to be looking at an issue with a telecom company, and these are some of the things that you're going to see: causal AI, generative AI, those types of things, right? And so let's get started with it. So the very first thing we're looking at here is this heat map situation, right? So this is a heat map view of all of the services in the environment, and their different statuses. So some are green, which are fine, some are red, some are orange, and so on. We're going to be investigating the Apex Mobile Corporation, so we're going to start here. And it's directing me to click directly on this guy, so that's what I'm going to do. And we basically dive in directly to the Apex Mobile corporate high-level view, okay? Now, what I want to do here is I want to understand what sub-services may be impacting the overall corporate service that we see here. So I want to quickly take a look at service hierarchy to see the impact. And you'll be directed to kind of expand your viewing range because it's kind of a big hierarchy. And so now I have access to see all of the different sub-services that are required for Apex Mobile Corporate. And what's easy to quickly visually see is that there's something going on down here with Apex Mobile Core Network South, which is impacting the Apex Mobile Volt Auto VoIP service, right? Which is part of the VoIP service in particular. But what's even better is I can also see what's not impacted, right? So it's only this particular Volt Auto VoIP service impacted. The rest of these VoIP services are still okay, right? And so as I continue on through this content, I can say next, and we're going to go directly to the Apex Mobile Volt Auto VoIP service, okay? Because that seems to be the one that was being impacted the most. And we're going to change the timeline. And the reason we're going to change the time view here is so that I can see when this started. As you can see, we're red on this timeline here. So if I go ahead and change this to 24 hours, we're going to readjust the timeline here. And I went a little bit too fast, so let me get back. That's the other thing, is you need to wait for the prompts, and I didn't. So that's kind of a good thing for you to understand as you're going through this. Don't get click happy and get ahead of the prompts, or it will drop you out. And I will show you what you can do if you get to a place where you want to see some more content, but you don't want to drop out of the demo. So let me show you that here in just a minute. So let's expand the time range. So we're going to click here, and it's going to tell me to change it to the last 24 hours, which I'll do. And so now I can see the timeline, which we'll look at in just a second, but also some metrics at the top. So what I notice instantly is that the health score is 40 out of 100. 40 is bad, 40 is red, right? So I know that there's some serious issues going on with this particular service. And it's probably, the reason the health score is probably so low is it's probably tied to some end user metrics, KPIs, which we will look at here in just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and click next. And now we're going to look at the actual timeline. So this is a demonstration environment. So it resets every evening about 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, US. And so that's why you see it impacted, and then it kind of cleans itself up and it starts again. But what's interesting about this timeline is I can see when the issue starts occurring, and then I can see when events occur. So there were 9 events occurred here, when incident was created, and even better, when any change requests for this service were active, right? So there's some change requests along here. So very quickly, I get a visual representation of when the issue started occurring, how many events came in, what the incidents were created, and if there were any changes that happened. So we'll click next. Now we're going to look at the topology, okay? And so what we're looking at here is causal AI, AI was used to determine that the leaf 2 switch is the probable cause of the impact, right? And we can see the downstream impact of that. And the red lines that you see here are a direct impact. And we're only showing you enough of the hierarchy so that you can see what's going on. We don't show you the entire hierarchy unless you want to see it, you could. Now that brings up something I pointed out a little bit ago. What you'll notice here is I can't really click on anything here, and that's by design, because as you saw, I got kicked out of the use case flow by getting ahead of it. If we turned on the ability to click on something here, it would kick you out. So, and I'm just going to show you this in case you want to do some more investigation on your own. You're saying, well, this is kind of cool, but I would like to be able to click on some of this. Well, in the real product, you can. So if we just duplicate this tab, right? I'm in the same tab here, the same view. Right now I can click on these things. And so what you have in this view is the ability to click on whatever you want. In this case, this is the switch, and I can see the actual events that were occurring against that switch. Right. And so there's a lot of places where we're duplicating the tab and looking at some of the information could be helpful. Let's get back to the actual use case demonstration flow. Some of this demo content, the overlay, also has links to additional information. So the topology is created with what we call a service blueprint, right? So creating all of the topology views for business services is very quick and very easy with this concept of a reusable service blueprint. And so you could create one blueprint that does, let's say, Kubernetes, right? And that could apply to any and all of your Kubernetes environments. And all you have to do is pick the namespace for it and create separate services, right? So service blueprints is very important, but it's something we can't really show in a guided use case scenario because it requires write access. And as John mentioned early on, this is a read-only type environment. So learning more about service blueprints is better if you just go here and watch some of the videos and things that we have in the documentation. So we're going to continue on with our look at this issue that's impacting the voice over IP service for this telco company. I mentioned health indicators. So health indicators are attached to the service, and that's typically done in the service blueprint or service configuration. And in this case, we're looking at some jitter metrics. And so you can see when the demo reset and when the jitter metrics went above their specific threshold. And so voice over IP, anybody in the telecom world knows that jitter is bad. It really impacts voice quality. So we're going to say next. So now we know that there were some changes going on. We created an incident. We know it's probably the leaf switch that has the issue, and we see that customers are impacted by jitter. And we're going to look at the root cause, right? So AIOps knows all of this information. So he again has said the most probable cause is that leaf 2 switch. It is this particular event about the leaf 2 switch, which we'll talk about in just a minute, which is a log interface down, and that there are some automations available for it. And we'll talk more about that towards the end here. The other thing that of note is you have this button here to see changes. Remember, we saw changes on the timeline, but which changes are directly against this specific CI that may be causing the problem? And lo and behold, there is a specific change request for this specific CI, right? And so and this would be a hot link, right? So if I went to the other tab, this would be a hot link where I could link directly to the change request and see that there was an update to the VLAN performed right before this particular issue started to happen, okay? We're going to say next. And now we're going to go, so now we pretty much know what the problem is. We know that there's a change request happened to update the VLAN on the leaf switch, which is more than likely causing our jitter issues, impacting voice quality. And we're going to open the situation, and I'll explain what that is in just a minute, to dive a little bit deeper into some of the information that's available to us to help us understand exactly what happened and then maybe give us some recommendations on how to fix it. So the situation is it's an automatic correlation of events against a particular service, and they're grouped together or clustered together into one situation. So the situation has been named this. We can see that there are 28 other similar situations, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And there are 8 events that make up this particular situation. Okay. And if we say next, something else to point out is there was only a single incident generated for all of these 8 events, right? So instead of 8 separate incidents being generated, right, we're creating one incident that really cuts down on help desk fatigue. So what we're going to do now is drill into this situation and get the details. So the first thing we're going to look at is the situation explanation. And really this is kind of tells you how the situation was formed. These are all the events that came in. Remember, there were 8 of them, and which tier that they are impacting, right? So the network device tier, the host tier, and the deployment tier. This happens to be a Kubernetes hosted application. And so this really tells me that information. And again, if I were in a live view and not having this content, I could click on any of these guys and see the events behind them. So this kind of really tells me that there were three events in the network tier, right? There was an event in the host tier, and then the deployment tier had several. These actual deployments, these are the jitter events that came in, right? That we saw in the KPIs earlier. Now remember, I said that there were 28 similar situations to the one that we were looking at. And so what happens is anytime a situation is created, we kind of take a snapshot of what we just looked at down here, these events that came in, and we call that a fingerprint, and we save that in the knowledge graph. So any new situation that comes in, we compare the brand new situation against all the other situations that have occurred before it and see if it matches any patterns. And that's what this similar situations graph here is. When they matched and how many matched that particular time of day. What that allows us to do is go to one of those similar situations and look and see how it was resolved to begin with, right? Cutting down on mean time to repair, we can get a good idea of what that particular SRE used to fix that problem. And now we get into where some of the generative AI helps us out quite a bit, right? In the situation detail. So everybody knows that's in IT that you have these events come in, and even if you're correlating events into a situation, it's still a little bit difficult to understand exactly what happened, right? But using generative AI, right, we're able to summarize this into a human readable form, basically, right? So this is telling us that the situation started with an interface down on the Leaf 2 switch and some other things going on. The outbound text dropped below 15. And then additionally, the jitter, which is delay variation, exceeded 100 milliseconds, right? So really a human readable form that anyone can understand and go, oh, okay, now I understand what happened. What we also do is we can show some recommendations for how to solve the issue, okay? And that's what this is. So again, with AIOps, we supply a pre-trained large language model for network and operations issues, right? And then we can fine tune that with your own data, ticket data, log data, and the like, to offer some recommendations on how to fix this type of problem. So, and that's all done behind the scenes in the background with AI, right? And so in this particular case, it's basically telling me that running the reset VLAN configuration automation, or if there was an automation, resetting the VLAN would fix this particular problem. And the rest of these steps are just verifying that the problem was solved. If for some reason you don't have an automation, we can kind of help you out in that area too by using our code wizard. I'm not going to click on it, but the code wizard will basically give you a head start on creating an automation. And it's available for several platforms, Python, Bash, Ansible, right? We can kind of give you a head start on what you need to do that you can then turn into an automation. So one more thing I'm going to show you is this Ask Helix GPT. So getting additional details by being able to query this all the information that AIOps knows about in this large language model, right? So if I click on Ask Helix GPT, I can ask some pre-trained questions here. So in this case, we're going to click on what is the impact of the issue, right? So I'll click on that. And it's going to go out, give it a minute. Please be patient. Okay, it may take a second. But this gives me a very detailed description of and timeline of what happened and when and what was the health score and the different as it progressed and so on, right? So it's really a much larger summary of what you saw over here on the left. This kind of gives you the whole summary on the right. Well, what we can also do is get some log insights. So we also can ingest log data as well from all over the place. And in this case, the log data is saying, and this is from syslog, I believe, that the interface was basically flapping, right? Fluctuating between up and down, causing the drop in the octets and so on and so forth. And then the jitter was impacted and so on. And the last thing we can look at is, okay, so now we know what the problem is. We know what we need to do to fix it. Are there any automations available to do so? And we can go here and trigger an automation. And in our case, there were several automations available for this type of issue, but we know that the reset VLAN configuration is the one that we would select to remediate this issue and get everybody back on track. And then typically the use cases end in the same way as well by telling you exactly what you just saw and usually giving you a little hint on how to start over. So in this case, if I wanted to go run another use case, I could say end the tour and I could go back to the portal tab at the top left and I could start another use case, whatever I wanted to do. So that's a quick rundown of walking through one of the use cases and kind of how they work. Sam, if there are any questions, I'll send it back to you.
So the audience has been a little bit quiet, hopefully because they've been following along. So everyone's muted at the moment. I am going to give you the opportunity to speak to the team. Hopefully you've found this useful. There are, as he mentioned, quite a lot of other demo environments, and really, as it says, self-guided. You have the opportunity to go into these demos at any point. You will find them also on the front page of BMC. So where you see the product demos at the top, when you click on there, you can access it through there. John's team, some of who you've seen today on this session, are there to help you. And if you do want to do any extensions, there will be an email address on the resources page that we'll be sending out today. While we're just seeing if anyone does have any questions, I don't know, John and team, if there's any sort of, I guess, maybe some takeaways or some high-level points that you want to mention. We do have a poll that I'm going to just put out now. Just we're very interested to hear if anyone's used any of the demos before, because this is the third session that we've done. One was in the AIOps webinar series that I run with Euron, and we've also done one with the ITSM use cases, and this one with AIOps. So we're quite keen to hear from you and get some feedback. So yeah, John, I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add, or maybe Wid.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, hang tight, Wid, and the one of the things I just wanted to point out. Thanks for again, thanks everybody for joining. But one of the things that what you saw through all of that video, right? Or that demonstration that Thad did, right? All of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes was automation, right? That was AI and machine learning. That was doing this, that was recognizing that there was an issue to begin with. Logs were being monitored, events were being monitored. And as that situation progressed and things started to go south, right, the AI was creating the situation. It was recognizing that this was a problem. It created, through all of the events that were flooding in, it created a single incident to track this. Going on, so it was in the background, just doing a tremendous amount of work with no human interaction. And till the user, Thad comes in and he starts looking at what this situation is. But all of that was gathered and presented. So we didn't have a swarm of people. So there was an event that came in, and then a war room was brought together, and everybody's trying to figure out, what the cause of the problem was. All of that was handled. So no stress and fatigue on that. No war rooms. No blame games. All of this was presented to the SRE or whoever it is that's looking at this, right? This situation, right? So all of that work was done. A resolution was presented, and remediation could be done very quickly. So I just wanted to highlight that fact that everything you saw there that was going on was done automatically. I'm sorry, Whit, for stepping over you. Go ahead.
No, I think that's an excellent point, John, to remind everyone that yes, it is in fact, using a large language model to pull all that information together and make your decision process faster for the end user. And I was just going to encourage everybody. There's, as Samantha said earlier, many different use cases out there. It's all based on an environment that's a live environment. As Thad said, it is in fact read only, but you can go in there and click through the use cases, or you can go ahead and skip from the use cases and just look around and investigate those areas that are of interest to you.